So I'm just going to briefly demonstrate how I would create a pattern onto lino. And I've actually gone back to a design that I found a little while ago I quite like. It's a spiral design that's got some lovely lines moving away from it. And the beauty of anything like this is it works quite well on lino, as you hopefully will see when I come to actually use it for printing. But rather than just having one spiral, I don't know if that shows up. You can see where I've drawn the first spiral. I'm actually going to do two because I'm going to cover the whole sheet of lino with... and I actually started by drawing it that way, and I'm going to turn my piece of lino and I'm going to do another spiral here. I'm going to go off in that direction. Just fancy doing... It was something about... we were talking about spirals earlier and I'm just thinking, yeah, I fancy doing something like that. These lovely rays are coming away. Sometimes using a white pencil is quite good for showing up, but I can actually see the lead pencil quite well. So I've got a bit of a pattern going on there. Now be careful when you use your cutter. They're very sharp. I do have plasters if anyone needs them, but just be very aware that that tip is very sharp and you can cut your fingers quite easily. So wherever possible, try and work away from you, rather than towards you. And try and keep the pressure quite light. When you're holding it, try not to grip it too hard. Hold it fairly lightly. These are quite soft, the pieces of lino I've given you to work with. It should feel a little bit like butter, a knife going through butter. If you start to press down, it becomes too difficult, too hard. You're going too deep. You don't need to try that hard. So I'm just going to start to get a feel for it by actually working on the lines. So I'm just going to press it in, and then I'm going to gently lift it up as I come to the end of the line. It's very therapeutic, almost addictive actually. I hope you enjoy using these. But it's really fun as well because you can create something so quickly, almost instantly, that you can print with, that actually is permanent. You can continue to use this piece of lino again and again and again to create some lovely designs. So I'm actually going to take these to the edge of my piece of lino. I'm going to keep it fairly light. You can always go back over it. And I'm going to move the lino. And it's not about making it perfect. It's actually about having all the little bits that actually just, you know, make it look handmade for lino for the last few minutes. So I'm actually going to come up now. Because after a while the pressure becomes, and that little bit I can just tidy up there. Okay, so it's starting to come together. I might even come back this way. And we are really constructing something that's just so simple, but hopefully will produce something that's a nice little template for you to use in your work. And you can keep going into that deeper and deeper if you want it to be more clear and more defined. Okay. So remember, everything is going to be sort of in reverse to what you see on your lino. Every part that you haven't cut is actually going to be the area that shows in the print. And it's very important if you were to do some writing to remember you've got to do it around the other way. So I have got some tracing paper, and that's something you could use to maybe write whatever it is, the word or you know, a piece of writing that you want to use for your inspiration. You need to literally write it and trace it so that you get it coming through in reverse, and then it will print the right way up.
And can you tell us about the depth again?
Yeah. The deeper you go into your lines or your curves, the stronger the definition of your print will be. I'm just tidying up a few bits that I feel we just need a little bit of work. You notice they're slightly tackier in acrylics, so they will cling to the roller nicely and form a nice block of colour. I'm going to start with just one colour, but I'm then going to introduce some others and almost design a mottled effect.
This is the early form of printing, making a newspaper.
Yeah. Can you hear that noise? Can you hear that? Hear that tacky noise? That's the sort of, I've got slightly too much ink on my roller there, but it will come off. I'm going to take it right across my tray now. But try and keep your thick block of ink at the top and then bring your ink down here. So you don't get too much ink on the roller, and that is a common mistake. And unfortunately, if you get too much ink on your roller, what's going to happen is your lines are going to fill up and you're actually probably not going to get a nice pattern coming in. So aim for that noise, okay, that sort of tacky noise.
Train on the track.
Can you notice the line that I've gone over a couple of times is so much wider, it's so much more obvious now. And I might actually go back into this as a template and work on it a little bit more to see if there's anything I can bring in. But that hopefully is nicely primed with the printing ink for my first print. Okay. Now the way I'm going to do this one, actually I'm going to take the paper to the print. I'm actually going to roll over the back with a clean roller. And obviously it's important to try not to move the paper once you've actually placed it onto the